Okay, so it says it's being recorded, so I'll assume it is. Morning and welcome to this week's Breakfast with Mike. And this week is entitled Create a Fire. I've never heard anybody say it quite that way. I've heard a lot of things about fires, and I've heard a lot of things about motivation, but I've never seen them really put together quite that way. Create a fire. If you've been in the sales business for any length of time, you've probably heard the story of Cortez. Cortez, when he came to this country, actually he was in Mexico, but when he came, the story goes that he burned his boats. Well, it's not true. He did not burn his boats. He did, however, scuttle them. Okay, and you can look it up. He did not burn his boats. The story always, when the story can get that blown up, they keep telling you print the legend, don't print the truth. Okay. Well, the legend of it, the myth of it, is that he burned his boats when he got here as a message that we're not going back, and we've got to succeed. Well, he didn't burn them, he scuttled them. And the reason that he scuttled them was to get the people who were kind of the deckhands off the boats, because he knew he was going to need them for the battles that he had coming up. He was very, very much outnumbered, not very well liked, just so you know. Scuttled them so that he could pretty much put those deckhands to work. But the idea that he burned his boats became such a legendary thing for motivation. Some students, I've talked about trapeze artists, and I've talked about those times when the trapeze artists got to go from one side to the other. And in order to do that, they have to let go of one to catch the other one. And even if they're doing this in pairs, where you got the catcher that drops down and they're ready to catch when you do all those flips. And here's the thing that most people don't understand: when they do that without a net, they're literally putting their life in that person's hands. Because if they don't catch them, pretty good chance they're not coming out of it alive. And yet, in order to make this all happen for your entertainment value, they have to let go. Just like you have to let go of the old habits that aren't working. I'm going to say something now that most coaches would never say. But you that have been around me, you know this is true. I tell you the truth. It's not always what you want to hear, but I tell you the truth. And why do I do that? Well, it's not to gain students. Matter of fact, a lot of times it goes the other way. Most students want the coach to tell them that what they're doing is okay. It'll work. Just wait. The market will correct itself and you'll be fine. Most coaches, that's what they want to do. Why? Because they want you to keep paying them. And as long as they keep telling you you're okay, you'll keep paying them. That's not what I got in this for. That's not why I do what I'm doing. I'm going to tell you the truth. You aren't always going to like to hear it, but I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth about motivation actually came to me from a story Floyd used to tell. Floyd used to tell this story about how people would come to him to sign things. And this one guy who was relatively new to real estate asked him to sign the book. Floyd wrote numerous books. And so he said, "You want me to sign it?" And the whoever it was, the guy, I don't remember the guy's name, but he said, "Well, do me a favor, put something in there that's like, motivating. Don't just sign your name." And Floyd said, "You mean you want me to write something in here to help you to kick you in the butt? Is that what I'm hearing?" And the guy said, "Yeah." And what Floyd wrote in the book was, "When you learn to kick your own butt, you will have learned the secret to success." And that's probably one of the most motivating statements I've ever heard any trainer. I don't kick you in the butt. I'll help hold you accountable, but I don't kick you in the butt. You have to do that. And every top producer will tell you the same thing. In almost every case I've ever run across, top producers reached a point where they were either going to have to get out or lose everything. Everybody reaches that point. We all have it happen. And then all of a sudden, we're presented with an option. And that option is simple: either do it or get out. I've said many times, I'm one of the luckiest realtors you will ever meet. And it's got nothing to do with sales. It's got nothing to do with techniques or any of that. The reason I'm lucky is because I left a really good paying job, got into real estate with virtually no experience whatsoever. But at home, I had a wife who did not work and two young kids. I didn't have an option. If I didn't sell, they didn't eat. Now, a lot of other agents will look at that and they'll say, well, I'll go get a part-time job to supplement this. And when you do that, basically, you're the trapeze artist that's working with a net. There's no risk. All you're going to do is fall in the net. Get back up and go do it again. But when there's no net, now what are you going to do? What's the option now? The option for me and many other top producers that I've met over the years have said the same thing. There was no option. What's that line in the movie Apollo 13, right? Failure's not an option. Which, by the way, was another myth. That's not the way he said it, but that's okay. I removed the option. I didn't remove it. It was removed for me. If I wanted to stay in real estate, I had to sell. So I had to learn how to do it really fast. What's pushing you? When I talk about create a fire, the best thing that could happen would be if you create a fire behind you. Don't give yourself an option to go back. Let the fire push you toward your goal, whatever that is. I've worked with agents that have set goals that they could have swore, this is it. This is going to push me. There's no way I could possibly fail. And then they do. Why? Some people would say it's not a strong enough goal. When you don't have the option to fail, you'll do what's necessary. There's nobody on this call that can't do it. I had no clue what I was doing. I've said this many times. I was a tool and die maker. I didn't know the first thing about sales. And yet, because I had no choice, I became very successful. And I'm going to tell you a secret. There's actually a couple of guys on this call that know this too. I was not as successful as the impression was. The impression was that I was more successful. And believe it or not, that silly fiddle that I used to carry is what did that. People thought I was more successful. Well, that actually turned me into being more successful, because then it was like, I don't have a choice. The kids don't want to have soup. They want to have steak. Oh, steak costs more money. I got to make more money. Create the fire behind you. Stop giving yourself a way to go back. If you've got no way to go back, the only way to go is forward. So when you set goals and say, this is where I want to be, that goal can't just be because you set it. It's got to be something you really have to have. You know, I've done talks in a lot of places in the country, and I ask this question almost all the time. I get the same answer. Some of you have heard me ask this before, and you know what's coming. I ask people in a group, how much do you want to make? Number one answer, $100,000. That's the number one answer, has been the number one answer ever since I started this. That's where everybody starts. So what I do is I say, okay, why? And they'll go, what? Why? Why do you want to make 100 grand? What's it going to do for you? They give me this confused look. And so I'll say, well, here, let me do it this way. If you were going to go and interview for a job, not real estate, but for one of those, 9 to 5ers, okay? And they said to you that the pay was going to be $100,000, would you take the job? Almost everybody says, well, yeah. Okay. What if I told you that if you added up your bills just to pay all your bills, not alone, no, don't go anywhere, no vacation, no nothing, just to pay your bills were $112,000. Now would you take the job? And they look at me like, huh? See, that's what you did in real estate. You took the job without knowing, number one, in most cases, what your own bills are. And number two, whether or not the income you're going to make would pay those bills. Because nobody talks about that. Everybody talks about when we get into real estate. Why do we get into real estate? You know, those famous 3 words, freedom, flexibility, and the promise of untold wealth. Problem is, people spend so much time on the freedom and flexibility, they never make any money. Or not any real money. If you didn't make money through those COVID years, you got to make some changes. Because you didn't have to be good to make money during the COVID years. You just had to show up. That became something that none of us saw coming. Anybody that says they saw that coming is lying to you. None of us saw that coming. They shut down the country. How many realtors do you think were saying, well, I'm going to do great? Yeah, no. We were all wondering where our next check was coming from because nobody knew what was going to happen. And they sure didn't expect it to blow up the way it did. And it did, didn't it? It went crazy. And in some areas, it's still going crazy. So why aren't you participating in that? In my opinion, because you don't have that fire behind you that pushes you. You might say you have a goal, but goals don't make money. Goals just give you some energy. And in a lot of cases, they don't give you enough energy. You got to have that fire behind you that pushes you, that doesn't let you sit back and wait. Most realtors fail because they sit back and wait. I'm going to wait for the market to come around. I'm going to wait for some of my past clients to sell. I'm going to wait for Zillow to, reduce their fees so I make more money. Good luck with that. I don't think Zillow's ever going to reduce their rates, do you? Heck no. They're going to increase them just like everything else. But if you got that fire behind you that pushes you, that does not allow you to sit back. Now, by the way, I'm not saying don't take time off because I'm a huge fan in taking time off. I think time off gives us more energy to do what we do when we're doing it. And if you don't get that time off, there's no reward for what you're doing. You won't do what you need to do. There's got to be a reward. Got to be. I've had people that have asked me many times what my day used to look like. And I always said the same thing. I've said the same story now for years. I got into the office by 8:15. Usually there was nobody there. Why 8:15? Because I had to drop my daughter off on the way to her school. I didn't have to. She could have taken the bus. But it created the habit for me I would drop her off. I had to have her there by 8:04, and it took me 11 minutes to get from there to my office. So that's why I was there at 8:15. Now, when she got out of that school, I had the habit. So I still got to the office by 8:15. And then people would say, "Well, when did you go home?" I went home when I was done. They'd go, "What? What's done?" Well, it depends on the day. If I said I want to schedule a listing appointment today, when I scheduled the listing appointment, I could go home because I accomplished what I set out to do. Most people spend the day doing all the busy work. They never get to scheduling the listing appointment. But if that fire is behind you and it pushes you into saying, if I don't schedule something today, they're going to come and take my car away from me. Now, most of you will go, well, no, they won't do that. Well, what if I promised you I would? What if I said, I know where you live, and if you don't hit your goal today, I'm going to hire somebody to come take your car. I know you'll get it back. But originally, how would you feel when you walked outside and saw you did not have a car? I would have to think you'd panic. And then I'm gonna have one of those doorbell cameras. So I'm gonna see the look of panic on your face. I'm gonna call you up. Go, how do you feel? My car's gone. I know I took it. You took my car? Well, I hired somebody. I'm not driving down there. I hired somebody. Yeah, I took your car. Why? Because you didn't do what you said you were going to do yesterday. There should be repercussions for us. We make a promise to ourselves. I'm going to do this. And then we break the promise. And there are no repercussions. But if that fire is behind you and it pushes you, it removes the option to fail. I truly believe if we had a fire behind us, and by the way, I never thought of it as a fire behind me, but I had it. I didn't equate it like this, but I had it. The fire for me was simple. I come home and look at my kids' eyes. If I didn't do what I was supposed to do that day, it's not me that suffers. See, you look at it and go, that's okay, I'll get to it tomorrow. And thinking you're the only one that suffers. No, 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 no. The people around you that care about you, they're the ones that suffer when you don't hit your goal. I'd come home, I'd look my kids in the eyes, and if I couldn't look them in the eye and say, I did everything I was supposed to do today, I felt like crap. And there were days I felt like crap because I didn't do what I said I was going to do. And there was nobody more mad than me at myself. Some of you know I was umpire in high school baseball. I'm waiting. I'm a week away now. I'm a week away from them letting me run on my new hip. I can't wait so I can get back out there and do it. But here's the thing about umpiring. I tell coaches this, I tell the administrators this. The guy, if an umpire blows a call, and by the way, we've all missed calls. If an umpire ever tells you that they never missed a call, they're lying because we've all missed calls. But when I tell coaches, the worst feeling in the world for me is when I miss a call because I didn't do my job. If I get into a bad position and miss a call and the coach comes out, I feel bad. None of us, I don't know an umpire out there that wants to miss a call. We never want to miss a call. Do we miss them? Yeah. Every once in a while, we're in the wrong spot or see something wrong or whatever. We miss it. What are you going to do? It's not like you could go, okay, let's start over. No, you got to move forward. And that fire pushes me too, pushes me to be a better umpire. How do you become better? You practice more. You do it more. It's killing me not to get out there. But I've got coaches that have said this to me too. They've said, you know what? I would take you behind the plate even if you couldn't move at all. If you could just stand there and call balls and strikes, I'd rather have you there. And I'm like, you know what? That's great to hear, but I wouldn't do it. because it's not fair to the players for me not to be able to do my job the way I'm supposed to. And I can't just stay behind the plate. That's only a part of what I do. It's nice to hear. It's like when somebody, oh, I'm gonna love you're not gonna like this when I say it, but it's true. It's like when you get a recruiting letter. I used to get when I was training for one of my companies, I used to get people come up to me, listen, you got to pay me more. So and so is offering me more. I used to love it because I would look at him and go, really? Why? I mean, based on your current production, would you give you an increase in pay? Boy, that always slowed him down. How do you start hitting the goals you want to hit? You've got to create your own fire. You've got to create something that pushes you enough that you just don't want to go home unless you've done what you set out to do. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. Simple does not mean easy. Simple just means simple. You want to make more money? Talk to more people. Simple. You want to get more listings? Go on more appointments. It's simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. You've got to have something behind you that pushes you. You get a good coach, they'll push you, or at least they'll try to. But when it all comes down to it, it's on you. I can't create the fire for you. I can hold you accountable to it. But then there are a lot of agents that when I hold them accountable and they don't do it, you know what they do? You're going to laugh. They quit. They quit. Oh, I'm not getting anything out of it. You're not putting anything into it. Of course, I can't say that to them, but it's true. And I know it. Chances are they know it. Just had that happen recently. Somebody that moved on. I'm like, okay, I'm not losing any sleep over it. Had a good friend of mine call me the other day and he asked me, he goes, so are you growing or not? I said, listen, I haven't decided if I'm going to retire. I'll help those who need help. If they want help, I will tell them the truth all the time. But I already know that telling them the truth, a lot of them, they come to me thinking, okay, you're the guy. I'm going to listen to you. And then as soon as I tell them what to do and they don't do it and they hear me talk about it, they go, oh, I'm not, no, 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 no. I don't want that. No, 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 no. And they go find another coach that'll tell them what they want to hear. There's a good friend of mine. His name was Brent Roberts. There's a couple of guys on this call that'll remember Brent. And his logo at the bottom used to be, I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. That was his logo. Tell you that, and he had these two pillars that looked like it was a Washington politician, which probably why he changed that. But the truth is that I'll tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. And I've always subscribed to that. If you want to hear what you're doing is right and you're not making any money, don't hire me. I'm the wrong person. If you want somebody that'll keep trying to light that fire behind you, yeah, I can do that. But the truth is, like Floyd's said in his book, when you learn how to kick your own butt, you'll know the secret to success. We've all been there. Every one of us has had it happen. We've all had bad days. We've all had bad months. Heck, we've probably all had bad years. I remember meeting a friend, one of my friends, that he was getting an award, and he didn't want to go to the award night because the award was like 3 levels down from what he was used to getting. He was embarrassed to take that award because it was nowhere near what he used to earn. I said, it's not the award. It's what you did to get there. So you had a bad year. How many bad years have you had? Not many. Let's put that behind you and start pushing toward where you want to go. Next year, he was right back where he was supposed to be. You have to light the fire. You have to create it. I can keep relighting it. I can get behind you and keep relighting it. But you got to create it. You got to have something that'll push you. I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to turn off the recording and let these guys throw some questions at me. Wish you were here. Maybe next time. We got a couple people that are here that I haven't seen before. So I'm looking forward to turning the recording off so that they can, kind of tell me I'm full of crap. I don't think they will, but I don't want to record it if they do. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Let's turn the recording off.